If you're a coaster enthusiast, then no matter where you are in the world, there are some great coasters you probably want to ride that are all the way on the other side of it. KI Coaster Guy here, and in this video, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 bucket list roller coasters. I recently did a top 10 bucket list theme parks video, which I'll put a link to in the description, and like that video, I'm limiting these to just those coasters that exist outside North America. So with that, let's get into it. Starting off the list at number 10, we have Wickerman at Alton Towers in Staffordshire, England. I really enjoy the wooden coasters that GCI, or Great Coasters International, put together. And even though this ride is considered a family coaster, I think I'd have a good time on it. But let's be honest here, the main reason Wickerman is on this list for me is because of just how cool this thing looks. That smoke and fire effect is just so impressive, and the titular Wickerman at the center just looking awesome all the time. I can't prove it, but I think Wickerman also has the notable distinction of being the only coaster in the world themed to ritual sacrifice, but feel free to fact check me on that. I've seen people from the UK on Twitter kind of crapping on this ride, so maybe it's not known as the best coaster ever, but it looks dope. And for me at least, that counts for something here. I know I can't be the only one shallow enough to want to ride a coaster just because it looks really cool, right? Guys? You know what I like? Launch coasters. So it'll probably make sense then when I tell you that at number 9 on this list is the fastest accelerating launch coaster on the planet, do-dodonpa at Fuji-Q Highland in Japan. Despite what looks to me like kind of an uninspiring layout overall, do-dodonpa is all about that launch, and what a launch it looks to be. From what I've heard, this ride was a lot more intense before they took out the top hat and replaced it with a loop, but in any case, I think this is a perfect fit for this list. I guess I'm a bit of a sucker for the record breakers. Speaking of record breakers, coming up next at the number 8 slot is another record-breaking launch coaster, Formularasa at Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. The fastest roller coaster in the world as of the making of this video. This one has been on my bucket list for a long time, and though I feel fairly confident that someday I'll make it to Alton Towers or Fuji-Q Highland, I really just have no idea if I'll ever find myself in Abu Dhabi. I mean, I know a lot of people who've been to a lot of places, but I don't know if I know anyone who's been to Abu Dhabi. But either way, this looks like a phenomenal ride. I mean, just look at this launch. Just incredible. It's always hard to tell from a POV what a ride is gonna feel like, but the rest of this layout doesn't look insane to me or anything. Something tells me it might be a little bit more exciting than it looks, but who knows, you know, other than people who've already been on it. Taking up number 7. This will make you smile. It's the Smiler at Alton Towers. I've only had the opportunity to ride one of these Gerstlauer Infinity coasters, Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. And while I enjoyed the ride, I wasn't blown away. But the Smiler is another ride that I'm attracted to because of the complete package it presents. And besides that, this ride is a lot bigger and looks way crazier than Hang Time. The Smiler still holds the record for inversions on a roller coaster at a staggering 14 inversions. That's a lot of going upside down, but thankfully they are split up a bit with a break to climb a lift hill in the middle. This does look like a great ride to me, but the aesthetics of this coaster play a huge role as well. Not only is a looping coaster like this pleasing to look at all on its own, that centerpiece, dubbed the Marmalizer by Alton Towers, is one of my favorite pieces of theming I've ever seen on any roller coaster anywhere. In my opinion, the Smiler is one of the coolest looking rides in the world right now. Speaking of cool looking rides, at number 6 we have Taren at Phantasialand in Brühl, Germany. As I mentioned in my bucket list parks video, this is one of the most popular coasters in the world to be photographed, and it isn't hard at all to see why. The theming on this coaster is absolutely beautiful. Not only that, but this also looks like a really good ride in and of itself. For those that don't know, Taren is an Intamin Blitz coaster. the same kind of model as Maverick at Cedar Point and Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens Tampa. And while I get the impression from people who've been on it, it's not as intense as the former and is a bit more comparable to the latter, it's still a very well-regarded roller coaster and it looks like a lot of fun. Taking up the number 5 spot, we have Edginaika at Fuji-Q Highland in Japan, an S&S 4th Dimension roller coaster. Unfortunately, I've never been to Magic Mountain out west, but in case you were unaware, they do have a very similar ride there called X2. But to hear many of those who've rode both tell it, Edginaika is the superior coaster. I think the theatrics in the station before the ride is a pretty cool touch, and it can't hurt to have this beautiful view as you're being taken up this lift hill. I've also never been on a coaster like this, and I'm really curious about that sensation of being flipped around as you're going through the layout. I've heard a few people in the community say this is the best coaster like this, so I'm hoping to make it over there and ride Edginaika for myself sometime over the next few years. Just missing out on the top 3, we have Zadra at Energylandia in Zator, Poland, a from the ground up Rocky Mountain construction iBox hybrid coaster. This awesome looking ride actually has the distinction of being the very first RMC iBox track coaster to be built from the ground up rather than being a conversion of an existing ride. This coaster features an incredible looking first drop, 3 inversions including a 0G stall and 2 0G rolls, and just appears to pack in a ton of airtime. Zadra looks buttery smooth, and I'm really curious to see how it compares to the RMC coasters here in the US. Just real quick, if you're enjoying the video, I'd like to ask you to take just a quick second and subscribe. If you think I'm doing a good job, consider hitting the like button as well. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And with that, let's get back to it. Into the top 3 now, we have another Rocky Mountain construction coaster, Hakugae, at Nagashima Spa-Land in Japan. There were a couple of rides towards the beginning of this list that I'm attracted to mostly because I think they look really cool, and a couple that are just about my anticipation for the ride experience. But Hakugae is a mixture of both. There is something about the aesthetics of this ride that I just really love. That blue and white color scheme looks just gorgeous here. The view from the top of the lift hill is breathtaking, and Hakugae at night with the way they have it lit, forget about it, just beautiful. On top of that though, this looks like an incredible ride. Like Zadra, this ride has a total of 3 inversions, including 2 0G rolls and a 0G stall. Hakugae is Japanese for the white whale, and in doing some research here, I actually discovered an anime called Hakugae: The Legend of Moby Dick, loosely based on Herman Melville's 1851 novel Moby Dick. I only say loosely because in this version, whales are another name for robotic spaceships. So basically, it's exactly the same as the book with just a few small differences. As far as I can tell, this isn't relevant to the roller coaster in any way, but I don't care. I looked at this, so now you have to as well. So if you've seen this anime, did the robotic spaceship bite off Captain Ahab's leg? Like, how did they do this story-wise? Anyway, for those of you who are still here, let's get back to what this video is supposed to be about. Taking home the silver here, we have Expedition G-Force at Holiday Park in Germany. This is an Intamin mega coaster that's known among enthusiasts as one of the best steel coasters ever built. And it's not hard to see why. This coaster packs in rapid, whippy transitions, overbanks, and ejector airtime. Legendary roller coaster designer and engineer Werner Stengel, who worked on coasters such as Millennium Force, El Toro, Maverick, and Top Thrill Dragster, has said he views Expedition G-Force as his best work. If that doesn't make you want to take a trip to Germany to visit Holiday Park and ride Expedition G-Force, I don't know what will. And for the top spot, at number 1, we have Wildfire at Kolmården in Sweden. It's kind of weird to think that one of the best regarded RMC coasters in the world is located in a park that's primarily a zoo. But it's a good thing that it is, because one of the best things about this coaster is the amazing view it provides from the turnaround at the top of the lift hill. Of course, this ride wouldn't be number 1 on this list if I didn't think it would be an incredible roller coaster. One of the things else I think is so cool about this ride is, like Lightning Rod at Dollywood, this is a terrain coaster. I think RMC does these terrain coasters as well as anyone, if not better, and this looks like a great one. I think this theme building, by the way, with smoke in it is a really cool addition. People who've ridden this ride do say it doesn't have as much airtime as something like Steel Vengeance or Lightning Rod, but it still looks like an aggressive, fun attraction in a killer location, and you can't ask for much more than that. So that's it, my top 10 bucket list coasters as of August 2020. If you've been on any of these, let me know what you thought of them in the comment section down below. Anyway, folks, that all clear means I'm up, and out of here. Thanks again for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe so you can see when I upload a new one. I'll talk to you guys next time.